Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and their twin flame connection. Twins, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, you can find that information in my Buy Me a Coffee link, my official Instagram and TikTok, all listed in the About section of my YouTube page. And I thank you so much in advance. I hope that you're doing well, twins. If you are here as a cross watcher, welcome. If you are unsure of what the twin flame journey is, I've included a link to Gabi Kovalenko's full-length video on the twin flame journey. And she does such a beautiful job, and I could never outshine it in any way, and I wouldn't even try. So I highly recommend it. It definitely helped me on my own twin flame journey. But in a nutshell, the twin flame journey involves two people who share the same energetic oversoul. There is often a runner and chaser dynamic where twins who have met one another can trigger one another. The connection is intense and overwhelming, and the pressure builds and builds and builds until one of the twins cannot, or both of the twins cannot handle it anymore, and they separate in order to kind of try and figure out who they are on their own. It's a very divine connection, and it's an eternal one. And it's very difficult to separate yourself from the journey, although it can be done. You don't have to end up with your twin, but if you choose to take the journey of the twin flames, it's very, very rewarding. And it almost feels weird to say that to all of you, as I was in separation from my twin, and we are now in union. But I was in separation from my twin. There was no contact with my twin for 5 years, and separation from my twin for 7. So I've put some time into everything, front to back, top to bottom, about what the heck this journey is. And it spawned my spiritual awakening and allowed me to discover my gifts and how I wanted to share those gifts with others, with the world, and with all of you. And that is something that I would never take back. And it only happened because I was in separation from my twin. Because otherwise, all of my focus would have been on him and not on me, right? So the separation period is supposed to be about you, about your journey, your personal journey and elevation. I'm going to be using 2 decks for your reading today. The first one for the overall energy is going to be from the Human Spirit Oracle, which is an amazing deck. And I'm going to be using the Good Tarot today by Colette Baron Reed, and I'm only taking uprights from her deck, okay? The cards have been pre-shuffled. This is for the fire signs. Oh, that was very fast. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. For the fire signs, number 38, which reduces to an 11, corresponding to the Justice card of the Major Arcana. That is Libra energy, and it talks about karmic justice, karmic balance, things that we've reconciled from past lives, from the past and from past lives, Spirit wanted me to say. And the words are forever young. Forever young. I don't know where this thought is coming from, but Spirit is showing me like a cluster of stars. So this idea that you and your twin are star seeds, and I don't know how the connection to forever young comes in with that, but it's like forever young or the eternal. Spirit wanted me to say the eternal. I don't know what it is about the star seeds, like, because see, there's some like kind of pearls or drops of water. I don't know what these little spherical things are, but they remind me of stars or planets or like space in an image, which doesn't really conjure space, but I can't not see it. I see it very clearly. So you could identify as being a star seed. And Spirit is telling you to pursue that line of inquiry. If you've been reading about it or talking to people about what that really means, right? Like kind of connected to a larger ethereal family. I was told in an Akashic Records reading that I had that I am from the Pleiades. So I don't know. I don't necessarily... I don't personally feel anything to it on a conscious level, although I have seen light codes, but I can't decipher them, right? So this could be a line of questioning that you're going through right now in your separation, that you are discovering your own path to spirituality with whatever that is, and you feel really connected to space. This imagery is a little off-putting, I have to tell you. There's something about the eyes. You or your twin could have really striking eyes. But it's almost like death, rebirth, and the cycle continues. So it's like she's using these skulls as a kind of adornment. So if we're just talking, let's just talk about this life, for example, looking at the phases of yourself, the iterations of yourself that have come to pass, right? So just as an example, my twin flame, you know, I dated him many years ago, right? But it's almost like when we came back into union, we're completely different people. So one phase of the journey, or one phase of our personalities, kind of faded away and evolved into something else. We're still us, but we're in like a different dimension, in a different kind of consciousness, because of the experiences we've been through, right? So there's something that you're carrying with you, right? Because I never lose that person. I just carry it with me into the next chapter, into the next phase. And I feel like that's very important for you and your twin. It's like not wanting to lose what made the both of you so spectacular, but also knowing that that version was not going to work, right? So just taking the purest elements from that, because now I'm seeing this process of alchemization, like taking out the impurities, which is not to say you're not perfect the way you are, right? But we could be more evolved, right? That's what life is all about. This evolution of self. So it's like this process of, you know, taking out the impurities to end up with just a slab of pure gold or something like that. I'm very troubled though by this image. It bothers me. So there could be something here that at this point feels uncomfortable. because that process of alchemization is not easy. It's something that happens over time. And taking out the impurities, and I put that in air quotes, the impurities is arduous. It's a difficult process, because what does it involve? It involves us looking at our traumas and our triggers. Like if we're talking about on a personal level, that's what it involves. Our misgivings and our misconceptions and our preconceived notions and words like that. Everything we thought we knew, everything that we believed at one time is just being thrown up into the air. So I'm going to get 4 cards for the base spread, 4 cards for clarifier. The first set of cards is going to be your energy. The second set will be your twins. The third set is the connection. The fourth set will be advice from Spirit. Please remember, I am only taking cards in the upright. Okay, 8 cards out on the table. Let me just get myself together here. Okay. We start with your energy, fire signs in your suit, the 6 of fire. 6 of fire, 6 of wands, talks about, well, it talks about elevation, so that's great. Right, this hot air balloon rising up. It talks about accolades, awards, public recognition, promotion, being seen. Spirit just said being seen, because if you saw a clipper ship in the air, it would cause you to turn and look. So there's something, it's like you're doing something out of the ordinary, this clipper ship in the air. It's out of the ordinary. It's otherworldly. It feels a little steampunkish, you know, that genre, steampunk. So you might be into steampunk. It's something that is catching people off guard, I wanted to say, and causing people to look at you. Spirit said strangely, but don't be, don't fear that. Don't fear that. Because if people are looking at you strangely, it's because you're doing something that goes against a trend or goes against the norm. And that's the thing about spirit, about twin flames. Twin flames are specifically here to serve a higher purpose for humanity. And you can't do that by tucking yourself away in a corner. You're going to have to elevate and shine your light and your magnificence. And see, there's these other hot air balloon type things around, but yours is the biggest. Yours is the one that stands out. And it could be difficult for you to embrace that, but I feel as though you're getting more comfortable with it. 4 of air. To clarify that, the air is the suit of the swords. 4 of swords talks about rest and recuperation, recovery after some kind of shakeup or heartbreak or disappointment. Okay, so even with this fire energy represented by a hot air balloon, the hot air balloon moves very slowly, very slowly. With regards to, like, in comparison to like a plane, right? There's some kind of quiet energy, slow and quiet energy happening with you right now. You're taking your time. You're trying to figure things out, trying to make sense, questioning, Like there's this deep questioning here. And a little bit isolating, right? Standing out above the rest, sometimes it can put us in a space of isolation. And that's sometimes the twin flame journey, like when you can't really talk about it to people who are not twins or are not familiar with that journey. I always think it's very interesting how quickly, like I watch a lot of tarot, right? Like because I always want to learn. I always want to learn about the cards and how people interpret the cards. Ultimately, I use my own intuition, but when I watch a great reader, it just makes sense. So I watch a lot of readers, and I've been watching a lot of readers for a long time. And it always strikes me as so interesting that some of the readers that are so beloved to me, that I love so much, if they are not twin flames, twins themselves, they respond so almost aggressively against the very idea of twin flames. Even when a twin flame dynamic shows up in their reading and they have to acknowledge it because they're honoring what spirit, the message that spirit is giving them. They hate it almost. They hate to talk about it. And there's some fear, right? That are we dealing with actual sacred twin flames, or are we dealing with false flames, or people using the twin flame journey as an excuse to be obsessed with somebody, right? Oh, they're my twin flame, they're my one and only, whatever, right? Which I can understand that hesitation, because there are false flames out there, 100%. But it amazes me. It's like, if they don't believe in it, they go in the opposite direction. They almost hate themselves for mentioning it in any of their readings. And I always found that so fascinating. Sometimes I think it's because they fear it so much because they are twins, but they don't want to admit it, but that's neither here nor there, right? So everybody's on their own journey. But there's something to it. It's kind of like it's difficult for you to find somebody who can relate to what you're going through. They are out there, though. If anything, a lot of people know what it's like to experience heartbreak. That's something that we as humans can all relate to. Get a clarifier. What is this that we're recovering from? One card, please. Okay. Page of Earth, Page of Pentacles. This offer, perhaps, that was made. This is not your energy. Actually, I feel like this is not your energy, nor is it your twins. I feel like there's somebody coming towards you now that wants to connect with you, that wants to give you, make an offer to you, something authentic and true. It's very sweet, because I see this like young child. It's very sweet. It's very innocent, very authentic. And it could be difficult for you to allow it to come towards you, no matter how beautiful it is. And it's quite beautiful. I feel like there's somebody, and could it be a friend, right? Could be hard for you to let someone in, let this particular person in. See how their body language, it's almost like, I can't really mimic it because I'm sitting, but it's almost like half body is going forward, and it's like, come with me. Come with me this way. Are you gonna come this way? That's what it feels like. you're kind of floating somewhere else. In something like this, it's hard for you to make a U-turn. And you're in the space of a little bit of isolation. And so for someone to come towards you and say, come with me, could be difficult, right? Take it as it resonates, but that's what I feel. For your twin, they got the Queen of Air or the Queen of Swords. You could be dealing with an air sign. Another reference to Libra here for me with the Queen of Air. Look how beautiful she is. Very regal, very stately. The Queen of Air often talks about somebody wanting to get to the truth of the matter. Sometimes that energy can be a little harsh. I don't feel that in this deck, and I chose this deck intuitively, so I have to honor the feeling that I get from the card, which is like almost motherly, which you don't really get that vibe from the Queen of Air often, but motherly, but still all-knowing, still somebody who probably knows more than they should, right? Like they're very knowledgeable, they're very experienced, they're very smart, and you know, kind of looking for the truth. And this could be the energy that your twin is in right now, with a tendency towards the rational, towards the objective. Maybe the twin flame journey is a little perplexing for them, but I don't think that they're not open to it. It's just that they want to do research and they want to figure out more and kind of really be very astute. It's like they want to know what there is to know about it, because it could be perplexing them at this time. But I feel like they're learning about it. They want to know the truth of it, if there is a truth to be told. It's clarified by the 9 of Air for your twin. 9 of Air can talk about, in a traditional sense, the 9 of Swords talks about sleepless nights and nightmare energy, overthinking, anxiety. I feel as though with this card, there's a sense of calm, surrounded by all of this fluttering, but there's this sense of calm, like she's about to take off, but she's not quite ready yet. This reminds me of a very specific scene from, what's it called? The Dark Knight, the Batman movie with Michael Caine, Christian Bale, etc., etc. There's a scene in that Batman film, because there's so many Batman films, but there's a scene in that particular one, the first one that Christian Bale was in, where he is really having to deal with his fear of bats, and as an adult, and he goes into this cave that once held his deepest, darkest fears, and he enters the cave again as an adult, and he stands in the presence of what seems like tens of thousands of bats all swirling around him, and he's very still, and he's embracing it, and he's becoming one with that fear. And so I feel like something equally profound is happening with your twin. They're trying to become not just one with fear, but one with themselves, because it's all air sign energy. It's all like really trying to feel comfortable with all of these things swirling around them. Like to the point where like one can land on their shoulder and they don't shy away from it. They don't get startled. They become kind of synchronous with everything that is swirling around them, right? Because usually this card represents fear. A fear of our own making sometimes with the air signs, with the air signs, with the air element. Sometimes we can get stuck in our heads. We can think too much. Can I get a clarifier for your twin? Yeah, beautiful. This came out for the water signs as well, for their twin. Number 4, the Major Arcana, the Emperor. Could be dealing with another fire sign. Or this could be your energy showing up in their pile. This corresponds to Aries. Doesn't have to be connected to that, but it's almost like if it is you, right, this is the fear that they're trying to understand. How does my twin, the Emperor card, the power of all 4 kings, the ultimate divine masculine, in control, stately, right? A different kind of stately. Right? So I asked for a clarifier. And with this slant in my mind of like, what is it that was being feared? Why so many thoughts? And then this powerhouse shows up, and it feels kind of like you. It feels like my fire signs. They're staring down. It's like they're having a staring match. Right? They're having a staring match. How can I possibly compare to the Emperor? That's what I just heard. My spirit just said, how can I measure up? How can I even begin to approach somebody like this? They're worried about it. It could have been the thing that caused separation in the first place. And maybe it was difficult for you to understand. Because from a twin's point of view, it's like, especially if you're the chaser, and I don't know which one you are, from a chaser's point of view, it's like, but I love you, and I think you're great. And like, how do you not think you're great? Why would you ever think that we're in competition, or that I wouldn't admire you, or that I don't think I'm better than you? But this is what your twin sees. This is what your twin is staring down right now. It's hard. I had to deal with that too. Spirit's showing it to me. That's why I'm telling you. It's like my twin. Trust me when I say, if you were to look at my twin's resume, he is so accomplished. He is so accomplished. But he doesn't see it that way. Let me just put it like that. I don't want to put all his business out in the world, but he doesn't see himself like that at all. I see him like that, but he doesn't see himself like that. Right? And we lead to the next 2 cards of the connection. Number 8, the Strength card. Here we are. Here we are, right? This is the connection card. Sense of theme going on here, right? We're trying to connect. We're trying to make sense of things. We're trying to be in a space of equals. The Strength card represents the strength over the ego. Kind of, it's the expression taming the beast within. The lion is a representation of this character's primal self. So in a sense, this is the same entity visualized as separate beings. But I see this as the both of you trying to get to this place of comfort with one another. You're being strong for yourselves, which is very good. But right now, it almost feels like you speak different languages. You're in the material world, in the 3D realm, it's like you're speaking different languages. It's clarified by the 4 of water, the 4 of cups. This is very, oh, see, look. Remember when I was talking about these kind of weird planetary spherical things? Here they are again. The 4 of cups talks about not being able to see a blessing clearly. It's there, it's present, it's being handed to you by spirit. But there's this inability to recognize it, and in its place there could be some complacency and some apathy and some sense of boredom with a scenario. So it's almost like this card is saying, we've done this already. Like, we understand what this feels like. Can't we elevate out of this to something further, something more fulfilling than us trying to understand each other, but we speak different languages? Can I get a clarifier for that? What is it that we're being handed right now? What is Spirit giving to the twins? What is Spirit giving to the twins? 7 of water. Choices. Right now in this connection, it's all about your choices, your decision making, where you are putting the priority. It's very important, at least because you can't control what your twin does. You can only control what you do. From your perspective, it seems like this might be one of those choices for you. Somebody saying, come with me. Both of you are being presented with this, but this card can also talk about spoiled for choice and being confused. Which path to take. So there's like uncertainty here. And we end the reading with the advice from Spirit. 5 of earth, 3 of earth. 5 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles. Well, I'm immediately called to say that grounding is needed. Grounding. So connecting with nature, very important. The 5 of earth can talk about the sense of isolation. But in this card, it seems like it's like we're becoming one with that alone time, right? Because it showed up very strongly for you here, the alone time. Being comfortable. It also showed up for your twin kind of too. Being comfortable in a solitary energy. Being comfortable in a solitary energy, being comfortable in your own skin. And connecting to spirit. 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Earth talks about co-creation. So if you are working on your manifestations or on projects, reach out to soul tribe members, reach out to spirit. Because when you put these 2 cards together, and I do tarot math, 5 and 3 is 8. 8 of Earth, or 8 of Pentacles, talks about hard work, diligence, and investment. Where do we focus the majority of our time, effort, energy, and resources? I mean, it all comes back to the self, focusing on ourselves. But in terms of a twin flame dynamic, Spirit is asking you to be really, really comfortable in your own company. It's like, it's hard to say and hard to do, but if you can start doing things on your own and really relishing that time with your own company, it will only serve you. So for example, if you take yourself out to dinner, that's the easiest example. Some people I know could not bear to go into a restaurant by themselves and sit at a table and have dinner by themselves. Some people could not bear to do that. They would think that it was embarrassing and people would be judging them. And, you know, I never was that harsh of a critic of it, but it was difficult for me. And then I started doing it. I started by going to my favorite place, a place where it was familiar. I just want to tell you, a dragonfly just flew right by my window. So that's Spirit kind of blessing this message. But now I go out to eat by myself all the time. It's a pleasure to just eat by myself. And, you know, I might bring a book or people watch or, you know, watch a video on my phone or whatever, but just to sit in your own company. If it's not a restaurant, sit in the park. Just be in the space of gratitude with yourself, right? And raise that vibration within you, because it only helps the connection. So that's your reading, fire signs. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, twins.